Memory loss and the consequences of that loss are themes that are played with throughout Season 2 of Good Omens. The primary plot centers around the Supreme Archangel Gabriel showing up at Aziraphale's bookshop door, missing both his clothes and his memories. That event sets everything else that happens in Season 2 in motion, and it sets up the pieces to be in place for the rescued 90-minute finale.
I hope I'm not causing him too much trouble now.
More bad news for you then, Jimmy boy. You're making him risk his entire existence.
Quickly, before we begin our analysis, I would like to state that later in this video, I do discuss some of the leaked images taken by fans of some on-location filming that took place on February 10th, and they could be considered spoilers. The entire first half or more of this video will remain spoiler-free, and I will give a warning before I discuss the leaks. So if you want to avoid even the chance of potential spoilers for the finale, then feel free to watch the first part of this video and then skip to the conclusion once I give that spoiler warning. Timestamps are in the description to help navigate this video. Although Gabriel, aka Jim, is the centerpiece of Season 2's mysteries, audiences are left to wonder, does his memory loss portend more lost memories for other characters in the future? Does it hint at lost memories in the past? These are concepts that we will explore in this video. The collective term the fandom has adopted for these potential lost memories is memory wipe, because that is the term that Aziraphale uses when she is requesting to begin the procedure on Gabriel in heaven. But Gabriel's story and what it means is one I'd like to save for another day. Instead, let's discuss the three characters whose memories were potentially either tampered with in the past or maybe tampered with in the future: Crowley, Aziraphale, and Muriel. Let's start with Muriel. A sweet and naive angel, Muriel is a low-level clerk in heaven, junior recording angel 37th class. They have never had the opportunity to visit Earth before the events of Season 2. As a matter of fact, they seem to have rarely, if ever, had the opportunity to do much beyond their scrivener and filing duties. The way this theory goes is that the only angels we have seen who are as gentle, sweet, kind, and naive as Muriel are, aside from Aziraphale, who is a bit of a bastard, none really, just Jim, the name that Aziraphale bestows on Gabriel after his memories have gone missing. Aziraphale is also sweet and a bit naive, but due to his prolonged stay on Earth, he has lost some of his naivety, though not his enthusiasm for new experiences. Both Jim and Muriel show a genuine friendliness, an eagerness to learn and experience new things. Because Muriel's nature is almost unique among angels, some fans have theorized that it is due to a memory wipe long ago. There are a couple of points in favor of this theory. Aside from Muriel's sweet charm, Muriel is a junior recording angel 37th class. When Gabriel is demoted from the position of Supreme Archangel by the Metatron, he is told he will now be a junior recording angel 38th class, at which point Muriel chimes in that they weren't aware there was a class below 37th. The rank 38 seems to have been invented just for Gabriel. Is it possible that rank 37 was invented just for a demoted and mind-wiped Muriel? We see Muriel in the time of Job, and they have the exact same job, recording angel, though we aren't told their rank, and they do have the same sweet and funny personality, and they have a pretty meaningful interaction with Aziraphale, explaining the bet between God and Satan and defining the stakes of the bet. Yet when Muriel arrives on Earth disguised as a police officer, they don't seem to recall Aziraphale, nor are they worried that Aziraphale might recognize them. Considering they only have a visitor every couple of 100 years, it seems likely they would remember Aziraphale, apparently one of only a handful of angels ever to stop by their little corner of heaven. Then again, perhaps even angels forget things after 4,000 years. After all, Aziraphale doesn't seem to recognize Muriel either, though he's met hundreds or even thousands of people, while Muriel has met a few dozen angels at most. In addition, the Metatron refers to Muriel as the Dim One, which seems unfair, as Muriel did spot the dropped matchbox and is capable enough to read and make sense of extremely long legal contracts, but they are overwhelmed by the noise and activity on Earth, so perhaps they are simply too distracted and excited to remember. So, can we assume that Muriel has remained a junior recording angel 37th class for all of time without a promotion? And if so, is that an odd thing, or is it just another sign of the institutional problems? No chances for promotion, and workers treated like cogs in a machine, uncared for millennia. Is it a sign of a memory wipe that they don't remember Aziraphale, or just part of their bubbly, airy, easily distracted and overwhelmed personality? Another thing to consider is the question, what would be the point of showing us a low-level angel that once was mind-wiped? Perhaps it is to understand that this is a punishment that heaven has used more than once. I'm curious to know what you think about Muriel and the memory wipe theory. Next, let's talk about everyone's favorite demon, Crowley. In multiple instances, Crowley seems to display gaps in his memory or knowledge that we don't see from Aziraphale or other demons and angels. In 1941, when H.E.R confronts Crowley and Aziraphale for the crime of working together, he mentions that he and Crowley know each other, as they were in the same legion during the dubious battle in the plains of heaven just before the fall, and that they fought right next to each other. Crowley says he remembers the battle, but not H.E.R. H.E.R details that they had loads of fun together, one of them dressing up like a monkey in a waistcoat and riding on the other's back. Crowley just seems at a loss, which irks H.E.R. In episode 6, when Crowley has infiltrated heaven to seek out the answers about Gabriel's mysterious memory loss, he comes across Aziraphale, who calls Crowley by his name and states that they worked together on the Horsehead Nebula. Again, Crowley seems at a loss. When recalling his own fall, Crowley gives us many different narratives, that he sauntered vaguely downwards, that he just hung around the wrong people, that all he ever did was ask questions, and that after hanging out with Lucifer and the guys, with nothing on that afternoon, he found himself doing a million-light-year freestyle dive into a pool of boiling sulfur. When Jim asks Crowley about gravity, Crowley explains how it works in layman's terms, and when Jim asks why, Crowley says that he honestly doesn't remember. It seemed like a good idea when they were all talking about it. So, particularly concerning H.E.R and Aziraphale, the question is, did someone tamper with Crowley's memories, or is he just messing with them to get under their skin, or does he not recall them because he's a bit of an uppity character, as shown when he first meets Aziraphale in heaven? Aziraphale introduces himself, Crowley does not return the favor or seem particularly interested in Aziraphale. He's too busy paying attention to his work, unrolling a patch of stars and nebula and the physics that go with them. It has been officially confirmed that Crowley does remember Aziraphale from the time he spent as an angel, however. These questions remain unanswered, so are they clues or red herrings? What do you think? Finally, let's talk about Aziraphale. This is a theory concerning Season 3, or now the 90-minute finale. The conjecture is that Aziraphale may have his memory wiped at some point in the finale. It is even one of the theories about that odd smile in the elevator that he's having his memory wiped in that moment. Or it might be something the Metatron does to him at some later point as a punishment for interfering with Heaven's plans, or even as a preventative, knowing Aziraphale has interfered before, memory wiping him once he's in heaven so that he and Crowley cannot team up and interfere with the Second Coming. This may even be one of the reasons why the Metatron wasn't concerned about offering restored angelic status to Crowley. The Metatron knew he most likely would reject it, but in the unlikely event he accepted just to stay with Aziraphale, he would be within Heaven's grasp and under Heaven's jurisdiction. For this theory to make sense, it is important to remember that Aziraphale was unable to wipe Gabriel's memories once he got on the elevator down to Earth. Apparently, Heaven can only locate and then enact this memory wipe procedure on a being who is currently in heaven. Okay, if you want to be entirely spoiler-free from any filming leaks, now is the time to skip to the conclusion timestamp below. I am going to discuss some of the video leaks and images. In some of the video leaks on February 10th, fans have noticed a number of unusual things. Some of them aren't really relevant to this theory, but there are a few that could be interpreted as supporting it. For one thing, in the short bit of film we have of Michael Sheen arriving at and then leaving the filming location of Till's bookshop in Edinburgh, Scotland, he has unusual hair. I have looked really carefully at this footage, and although the first piece of video does appear to be Michael arriving on set, you can see this shop here is kitty corner to Till's, and Michael is crossing to Till's. This second piece of footage shows the corner of this park on Michael's left as he crosses the street, so this appears to be him leaving Till's after the shoot, or perhaps on a break during the shoot. And it is in this clip where we can most clearly see his hair, and it does not look like Aziraphale's normal, fluffy, halo-like platinum blonde hair. It is a much more mundane cut and style, very smooth and mostly flat, and potentially even a more mundane color, a medium to light blonde with perhaps a touch of gray at the front. The reason I think it matters that he is leaving Till's is because that means this is the hair he had during the shoot. In addition, this shot inside the shop through the window also appears to show him with very flat hair, flat enough that some fans speculated he was wearing a hat. What we see is Crowley entering the shop, then he and Aziraphale have some sort of exchange. Aziraphale holds up what appears to be a book at one point. He's waving his arms around quite a bit in another shot. He turns away, and then we see Crowley exit the shop. His walk seems like his upset, angry walk, not his normal saunter. Aziraphale, inside the shop, has his arms crossed and turns to the door Crowley just exited through. We can see that Crowley has something that looks a lot like a book or whatever it was that Aziraphale was showing him inside the shop. In addition to these facts, we also know that Derek Jacobi, who plays the Metatron, is part of this scene. He's on this set. He arrived with David Tennant. We don't see him after his arrival. Well, potentially we see him exit the shop at nightfall, but the footage is very blurry and we can't be sure it's him. So we only know he is in the shop at some point when they filmed on February 10th. All of what we see could just be another of Crowley and Aziraphale's arguments, but why are they inside a bookshop that is very, very clearly not Aziraphale's Soho shop? One that Aziraphale seems to be the proprietor of. Why does Aziraphale's hair look so dramatically different for the first time in his entire existence? What is the Metatron doing there? One potential answer to all of these questions is that at some point after arriving in heaven, perhaps immediately upon arrival, perhaps after stirring up too much trouble with the plans for the second coming, Aziraphale had his memory partially or completely wiped. The following is pure speculation, but it is one potential explanation for all of the oddities, and it also fits the narrative we have seen from both seasons 1 and 2. Aziraphale could have kept his original position as a lowly angelic heavenly representative on Earth, but with a memory wipe, and have been sent to this other bookshop to keep him happy and prevent him from causing trouble. Or it could be that his memory and angelic status have both been removed, and he's just living as if he thinks he's a human down on Earth. Perhaps like Gabriel, he escaped somehow, but with his memories gone, he only had a vague idea that he was a bookseller. There are many ways we could see a memory wipe that differs enough from Gabriel's to not feel like lazy writing and that impact the finale story in meaningful ways. The emotional arc of such a storyline where Crowley finds Aziraphale, but he is no longer the Aziraphale he knows, just an empty house like Gabriel talks about, could be very impactful and provide a catalyst for how they'd end up back together. It could also provide a potential use for the mysterious Book of Life. If it records people and angels and demons, and it can be used to erase them, could it not also be used to restore them? Since season 2 aired, I have seen a lot of theories. I have come up with a number of them myself, but I would say there is a sort of holy trinity of out there theories. Those would be the body swap during the kiss, that they become human in the end, and this one, that one of the main characters either has been or will be memory wiped. By far, this is the one that I buy into the most. I think it's not only plausible, but even likely that memory loss will play a critical role in the finale. So what do you think? Why is Aziraphale seemingly running this corner bookshop that is not his own Soho shop? Why is his hair so very mundane and non-angelic? Do you think he will suffer memory loss in the finale? Do you think Crowley is the victim of some sort of memory tampering in the past? And what about Muriel? Are they simply sweet and innocent by nature or because of some past erasure of their memories? As always, I'm very interested to hear what you think about these theories. I do have a positive and exciting update coming to the channel soon, so stay tuned later this week for that announcement. And don't forget to check out Good Omens Got True Talents. The deadline is creeping right up, April 25th. If you are an artist of any kind or just a hobbyist, this talent show is the place for you to show off your talent with a Good Omens themed piece. You could do a song parody, an original song, create paper crafts, stuffies, put on a magic show like Aziraphale, cosplay in a skit, show off your sewing talents, draw, paint, any talent really, and all ages and all skill levels are welcome. Please check out the website, which is linked in the description for all the details and rules, and feel free to message me at my email or on Discord with any questions. This is a big, wonderful community event, and I hope to see you all there. I would really love to thank my patrons who have continued to support me as the channel goes through some recent changes, and welcome new members Sunny and Elizabeth J. And a big, extra huge thank you to Madman D, Georgiana, Georgia Washington, and to Bill Dad tier patron Auntless. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you here again next week, and as always, thanks for watching.